final third is, oh, like, okay, fine. Maybe I should go to Italy and find myself. So the final third's the pilgrimage that fits in with the theme for today. And that is 100% accurate because I wrote it in an autobiographical writing class in 2000, only a couple of years after I went there. And I just picked it up and plonked it in the book. So it's very much, and so I didn't put any pictures of any of the love interests in the book, but I put actual real photos. Like, for example, this is me in 1994. And so it's kind of funny because I call myself Damian Cavalieri, but it says right there, Mark, you know, so that's my high school senior photo. So, so in terms of like, I'll give you a quick look at the cast of characters, including a woman whose picture's not in the book, so you get to see who I'm talking about. Okay, that's me, Trevi Fountain, studying abroad, SUNY Geneseo, 1997. Stayed in a hotel near there. This is Brian Stevens. I call him Byron Baldwin in the book because I thought he looked like Billy Baldwin or one of the Baldwin brothers. I think that's San Gimignano. And I changed her name to Evelyn Kruger in the book. All of her dialogue is 100% accurate. She had been to Italy before. She was not Italian. She loved art. So she was there for art. My friend Brian went there because I was going there. I was the only one of the three of us who was like, am I home? You know, and boy, it's funny. In America, I felt really European, and in Europe, I'm like, I feel kind of American, especially during certain moments. Okay, those are two teachers who took us, medieval Italian city-states. That's Wes Kennison, the tall man. I call him Taran in the book. And I call him Dr. Valancourt, but his real name is Bill Cook. He's a historian, and he had a house in Siena.
Looks like Ron Howard.
Oh, I know, yeah. My friend Brian said he looked like Admiral Akbar, or, you know, so, which I thought was a little mean, but, okay, so, and I'm named after San Marco in Venice, so that's me waving to Mom. Okay, and there's a castle in Montalcino, and Nicole climbed this ladder, and I was like, this is it, this is the moment, I'm going to kiss her when we get to the top of the tower, it's going to be amazing. And I climbed up after her, forgetting that I'm absolutely terrified of heights. And the towers had huge like holes in them. So I'm at the top, and instead of kissing her, I sort of collapsed in the corner, like kind of weeping, because I was so afraid I was going to fall out of the tower. So all of that sort of, it's all true. Brian Stevens knew that something was going on between me and Nicole, and so he was getting jealous. He's like, you're spending time with the girl. She's also very like a type A personality. I don't like her. So we went off on our own in Rome, and they saw 4 million landmarks. We found the discus guy, and that's it. So, and the other problem Brian had was he's like, wow, you know, Italy's really just like a lot of frescoes of like St. Francis, and like on the floor of the church, King Herod killing all the babies. And we've seen this 400 times, the slaughter of the innocents, St. Francis. Can I see something different? And he went to Wes Kennison, and he's like, I just want something unusual. And he's like, sure, go see the bone mosaic in the Gabella Cappuccino in the Via Veneto. Oh, yeah. And so he said, I want to see the bone mosaic. And I was like, I don't know what that is, but if it'll shut you the hell up, let's go. And so Nicole's like, where you guys going? Bone mosaic. She's like, I'll come. And Brian's like, it's me and Mark. She's like, I want to come. He's like, fine, you know. And I'm like, bone mosaic, what's that? This looks kind of like, kind of creepy. It sort of reminded me of the dance school from the Italian horror film Suspiria. Not exactly, but I was sort of expecting to find witches. And then we went inside, and I didn't realize, I found out that when they said bone mosaic, they meant bone mosaic. Yeah. Lamps made of bones, patterns made of bones. Oh, these are like all dead monks that were chained into these art installations. We did not know what we were walking into. That's the skeleton of a child. I said in the book it's a baby. I sort of misremembered, but that's how I felt. I was like, is that a kid? Like, so, you know, and so that's a close-up. I guess it's got the scales of justice and a scythe, so a little kid. You know, lots of skulls. You know, and imagine just wandering into that, not knowing where you're going. I mean, look at this. These are all pelvic bones, you know.
Did they have nice background music?
What's funny is at the time it was like dark, and you know there was a monk there guarding it, so it really felt like we went back in time. More recently, I went back with my in-laws. I did not want them to come they came. And it's much brighter now and polished, but there's still bones. Like it's still, so you can only, so I want to read you a little bit of the scene so you get a sense of how it plays out. If I can make it a little bigger. But, okay, so, so basically these folks don't like each other, and I'm stuck with them. And Brian goes into the church first. And, okay, here we go. Okay, anyway. Okay, he goes in, and he comes right back out, and he's like, I need a translation. I stepped past Byron into the dark candle-lit room. A balding, bearded monk in a dark brown habit stood before me. I was half convinced we'd gone back in time 400 years until a car horn honked outside. Silently, the monk pointed to a basket by the side of the door labeled donations in English and Italian. I pulled a few bills from my wallet, not feeling much like doing the math to figure out how many lire equaled a reasonable entry price in American dollars. I guessed and carelessly dropped a few of the smaller bills into the basket. I had no idea if I had been generous, cheap, or about right. Sylvia Plath was right, tipping is hard. The monk gestured down a long, narrow corridor on the right. We three headed that way. Over the past few days, Byron had used the words bone, mosaic, crypt, and ossuary to describe this place. But nothing could have prepared me for the view I was about to receive. Running along the ceiling of the corridor were patterns made from every bone in the human body. There were rows of diamonds made from sets of jawbones, flower designs made from teeth, lamps of bone hanging suspended from the ceiling by leg bones. I pointed over our heads at the art and light fixtures made from pieces of thousands of dead humans. What? The first of three chambers appeared on our left. The walls were covered in jawless human skulls, stacked one on top of the other. Hundreds of pairs of empty eye sockets stared at us and through us. In the second chamber, three complete skeletons dressed in monks' robes stood before another three displays of skulls. In the third chamber was a throne made of pelvic bones. George R.R. Martin's Iron Throne was made of swords. Both were shocking, but this pelvic bone throne won the fear-inducing championship against Game of Thrones. I didn't know enough about the human body to identify most of the body parts I was confronted with, and was glad for it. I could pretend this tableau was a strange prank by a Lego enthusiast or something. None of this could be real, could it? Actual dead bodies turned into a madman's art installation? Indeed, on one level, what I was looking at didn't appear human at all. You don't mourn a dead thing that doesn't look human. The problem was I knew it was human. These were real bones, pulled from real dead people, shaped by an artistic genius. But what kind of sick mind would make this? I tried not to think of the Holocaust, or dead relatives, or my own mortality, but I thought of little else. I make art when somebody dies, I murmured, quoting the Joker from Batman. On the ceiling of the final chamber, the skeleton of a 5-year-old child hung suspended from the ceiling. Okay, good, I got it right. Phew. Clutching in its hand a giant scythe made of bone. And you know, they really drill in church into your head, abortion, dead babies, and I was just like, ugh. And I was also flashing to the slaughter of the innocents on the floor. So just this sort of obsession with dead children, you know. So, what the fuck is this? Byron exclaimed. His eyes were wide. A smile of shock, horror, and amusement spread across his face. This is the weirdest shit I've ever seen, I said. Talk about slaughter of the innocents, Evelyn whispered. Byron pointed to a plaque on the wall beside us. This says these murals are made from the bones of 3,700 Capuchin friars. When? The Black Death? If these bones are from any other time period, I demand an explanation, I said. But who would make art from piles of Black Death casualties, Byron asked. I shrugged. Speaking as someone who has no idea what in the hell he's looking at right now, if I had to live through the Black Death, I'd be crazy too. Crazy enough to build something like this? Evelyn flipped to the correct page in her tour book and read it aloud. The monks came to this church in 1631, bringing with them 300 cartloads of the exhumed remains of their order's friars. Father Michael of Bergamo designed and arranged the bones into small bone mosaic chapels using soil imported from Jerusalem. Oh God! Byron pointed excitedly at a sign held aloft by one of the skeletons. What you are now, we once were. What we are now, you will be. Dude! I exclaimed. That's the scariest thing I've ever read, Byron agreed. Yeah, whispered Evelyn. I pointed at one of the complete skeletons and adopted my Arnold Schwarzenegger accent. Jim Harper, I knew this man, Green Beret out of Fort Bragg. But what is he doing here? The unbearable tension finally broken, Byron and I tossed our heads back and laughed. I felt guilty laughing hysterically in a charnel house, but something had to give. Evelyn scowled. Okay, Peter Parker, that's enough turning everything into a joke. Now is not an appropriate time to quote the movie Predator. Now's the perfect time to quote Predator, Byron retorted. It would be a great pledge location, I observed. Lock the new guy in here overnight and see if he gets through it without running off or killing himself. So fraternities, right? You know. Too right, Byron said. Let's see. We walked among the bones for another 10 minutes, drinking in the sight of death, talking about how creepy it was, but not finding a way to get ourselves to leave. Oh, I've had enough, said Evelyn. I'll meet you guys outside. No, I said, we're coming. Before we stepped out the door, Byron and I made sure to get postcards of the displays. We didn't know why we were paying to keep that site with us, but we knew we wanted to remember how it looked in the years to come. As we left, we took one last look at the monk, wondering if his bones would be added to the display after he died. Was that mosaic still under construction? We wanted to know the answer, and we didn't. 2 days later, when Byron and I saw Taryn again, we laughingly reproved him for suggesting it to us. What the hell was that, Taryn? Byron needled. Ah, that crypt separates the real Catholics from the ones who are just kidding around. I know a lot of Catholics who walked out of that place as Quakers. So that's 1997, and my brother-in-law is a trucker and makes way more money than I do as a college professor. Said, I want to take us all to Italy. And so he took, you know, his sister and me and his brother and his wife, and we all went. And I was like, I wonder if I get to see Southern Italy this time, because last time I just saw Northern Italy, and my family's from, you know, Naples and Salerno and Armento. Now the same Tuscany, you know, stuff again. And I knew we were in Rome, and we were staying literally like a block from this. And so I said to my wife, let's get up way early. Do not tell your brothers. We will sneak out, and I want to see the bone mosaic again. And you got to see this thing, because this was a formative experience. So she's like, yeah, sure, let's do it. And we woke up, and sadly, my brothers-in-law had trouble sleeping and were already awake, bored in the lobby. Like, where are you guys going? Like, no, we're running an errand, you know. And you guys, you stay. Like, oh, we're bored. Where are you going? Oh, well, it's far away, really. And they're like, well, then you're going to be gone a while. We better come. I was like, yeah, okay. And we walk a block. Boom. There's the bone mosaic, and we go in. I was like, by the way, this is really scary. It's like corpses. It's like a tomb. They're like, yeah, I don't know why you want to see this, but fine. And we went through it, and we come out the other end, and my brother-in-law's like, wow. So the first time you saw this, it was by accident because you didn't know what you were going to go see. But this time you went on purpose. And I'm like, yeah, you know, I had to see it again. He's like, why? I have no idea. And he's like, well, and these people are like the world's cutest, like Midwestern Mormon types, you know, and as Protestants as you can get, you know, and they're sort of like, I guess we understand you better now. You know? So luckily they continued to talk to me after that. And actually by the end of the Italy trip, I think they were sort of like, oh, okay, yeah, you really are very Italian. And I was like, it's funny because after I saw that, I didn't feel so Italian, but very much so. So anyway, that's towards the end of the book, you know, the castle, almost dying there. So it's funny. I felt very connected when I would speak at the little Italian I knew to the locals, and I loved the beauty of it. And I think seeing the horizon in San Gimignano is one of the most beautiful things I've ever seen in my life, and I have a picture of it hanging in my house now. So on a lot of ways, the pilgrimage worked. And I also met Chef Paolo in Venice, who said, don't worry about being a fake Italian. We all have our own way of being Italian. Each is its own city-state with its own language, and you're worried about, you know, having everything in common with a Staten Island Sicilian American, and if that's the bar, and if you're not exactly like them, you're not Italian. But yeah, so I love our thread of traveling, the pilgrimage to go back home, and I really kind of feel like I'm part of the project Carla was talking about, and thanks for listening.
Okay, thank you, Mark, thank you. 10-minute intermission.